Hello and welcome here from London. Yesterday there have been the big award show for the Sony World Photography Award, and right beside me is sitting Nick Hannes, winner of the Zeiss Photography Award. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Martin.
Your whole photographic editorial, or how you call it, like the whole imagery you shot in Dubai, won the Zeiss Award, and I think absolutely righteous decision. Great shots you delivered. What did you intend to show with the shots?
I'm very fascinated by the phenomenon of urbanization, and especially the market-driven, orchestrated urbanization.
Okay.
Not the organic way cities grow. So I was looking for a case study where I could work on this topic and go deep. And
okay.
I came out with Dubai, which is the most well-known and most excessive and most spectacular example of this kind of urbanization.
But like urbanization is it positive or negative associated in your usage?
It depends. Of course, cities grow, and usually when people come to cities have to expand because people need houses. It's a very natural process.
Yeah.
In Dubai, it's a very peculiar case because it's orchestrated from above, from the top. They decide we're going to put a gated community here, we're going to build a tower there, we're going to build a theme park there. Everything is very orchestrated, and the consequence of this process is that there is no soul, no poetry, no real life, no character. In Dubai, it's a generic city. It's like an airport, you know.
Okay,
airports or everywhere in the world, airports look the same.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. But from what you say now, this is actually, I think it's negative. Like not what you say is negative, but your point of view for urbanization in Dubai is not nice.
It's critical, yeah.
It's
sure.
critical, yeah.
Because it's just based on their main aim is money making. It's not the result of a search for an ideal city or a nice city to live in. No, it's profit making. That's the baseline of the whole process. And I have a different opinion about the world. I don't think we should be more responsible with what we do with space and open spaces.
And you don't think Dubai does that?
Well, Dubai has a lot of space in the desert, so they're now colonizing the desert, which is fine to me. I mean, but Dubai is just a case study. What happens in Dubai happens everywhere, not in this excessive amount, but a lot of tendencies I've seen in Dubai also happen here in London, in my city, in Antwerp, everywhere. So I want to give a comment on this kind of urbanization that forgets about people.
Nick, let's make a jump, and let's jump to another question. You said yesterday during, I think it was a gala dinner, you said that you love photographs which are open for interpretation, which leave space for the viewer to look at. And your images, they are printed out and being shown here in the exhibition in Somerset House, beautiful location in London. And there are countless human beings going to the shots and looking at those images and thinking for themselves. Is that your aim as photography?
That's important. You don't have to be moralistic, and you don't have to pretend that you know the truth. You don't know. Everybody has his own truth.
Yeah.
So this is my vision on Dubai. I don't want to photograph in a propagandic way. These pictures are open for interpretation, and I think it's much more interesting to raise certain questions about authenticity, about sustainability, about globalization, than to give like this is the answer. We have to, you know, it's much more interesting to try to people to try to obtain some self-reflection from the public. Think for yourself. Everybody has his own background, his own world vision.
Yeah.
So that's why there are different interpretations.
You know, this is what I was talking to you yesterday. You still know it, or was it like too much wine for the two of us?
No,
we talked about the photographers around the world. Like our audience is mainly amateur photographers, and you see, this is the point. Sometimes amateur photographers, they don't want to be called amateur photographers because amateur is kind of negatively associated. But in fact, for me, it's kind of positive, a very positive association, because an amateur doesn't have to be productional, doesn't have to look for money. It's like Dubai. Their main aim is to make money. With a professional photographer, his main aim is actually to make kind of money.
Okay.
Because it's a profession. Don't you think that there should be a lot more photographers doing stuff like you? Like how long did you take for the whole project?
Well,
did you earn money? Like
I started early 2016, so 2 years, 5 trips. I spent 1 month and a half on the spot.
You could have earned money in that time.
Yeah,
like doing
this is
jobs.
a sacrifice you have to make. If you want to tell a story, you have to know your priorities. I've been doing assignments the first 8 years after graduating from the Academy of Arts, and which I really loved to do. But in the end, I felt so frustrated, not having time left and energy left, especially time to work on my own ideas. I don't want to be an executor of ideas of somebody else. I want to be an author. I want to tell my stories.
Perhaps a lot of photographers, and by the way, me too, should think about that sentence. I don't want to, like, expectations, what we have to do, what we have to produce, what has to come out of our cameras, what others tell us to take pictures of. And I think as you said yesterday, when we look at one shot where the road ends and it's like turning back, and you said it's a phenomenal shot. It's a phenomenal shot because you can describe it better by yourself. Like,
well, you see just the desert, and it's a very symmetrical picture where you see a road coming and making a U-turn and going back from where it came.
It's metaphorical.
One pole in the middle, a very symmetrical. So it's a very simple picture. You can easily copy it if you know where it is. I don't tell you.
I don't know.
I got some emails from photographers. Where is this? Where is this?
But actually, you could look for Google Maps.
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
No, so it's a very metaphorical picture. It's the road to nowhere, or it's the road going back from where we came,
coming home, or coming back to our roots.
How much further can we go on with this kind of developments?
Yeah.
Our world cannot take it anymore. It has Dubai has the biggest ecological footprint in the world, for instance.
Really?
More than Americans. Yeah, they use a lot of water, a lot of energy to cool down their skyscrapers. It's bloody hot in summertime. So
it's a desert.
This is a very unsustainable society. If everybody would live like that, we would need like 10 planets or something.
10 planets.
So this is what I want to question. What are the consequences of this globalization on ecological and also on social
you see,
manners?
I think this is the point where someone is looking at your images and someone is seeing like nothing, like plain stupid photography, like my wife could do this, and another one which a person who is more interested in photography and arts, he sees that second layer above the pixels itself. As you said, you can reproduce it with a camera, with an iPhone, probably like not as good as, but like the same shot. But the intensity of the photograph is not existing because of the pixels, it's existing because of what we interpret into the shot. So I really I admire your shots.
Thanks.
How did you do the shot with the floating house? It looked as if it was rendered, like it could have been a rendering from an architect, and not a real photograph.
Yeah, I don't touch the content of my pictures anyway. That's what I don't do. But this is the floating seahorse. It's called. It's a floating villa out in the Persian Gulf. You need to take a boat for 1 hour. Then you arrive at this island group, the Worlds. They made a copy of the Worlds in islands, but nothing much has been built yet. So just this prototype of this villa is there.
Yeah.
Just one. They were planning to build 90 of these, 2.5 million each.
2.5 million.
And when you, so I was there on let's say a press visit, but only me. It was only me. I visited the floating seahorse, and this was shot from a little boat, and the butler was there with his wine, showing the bottle. And
I had to look at the butler to see that it is like a photograph, because it was so perfectly framed.
But I like to play with this. Dubai is sometimes very confusing. Is this real or fake? And I want to have the same feeling with my pictures as well. What's real? What's fake? Everything is real in a sense that it's not manipulated, it's not staged.
Yeah.
But it has a very theatrical feel.
Too man-made.
Some people think that I position my people, like the picture of the pooling Emirati guys, the pool bar. It looks very perfect. Yeah. It's like almost classical painting, but it's just a matter of waiting for the right moment. I was there with my tripod. Maybe I made 20 pictures.
But isn't that like kind of scary? There are like 4 guys in Emirati dressing, and they are playing billiard, and you just stand there waiting.
No, I asked their permission first, because you have to be careful, especially with Emirati people. I said, "Hi guys, I'm Nick. I'm making photographs for blah blah blah." They said, "Okay, fine, go ahead." And I said, "Just don't pay attention on me. Play your game." And I was there waiting for the right moment.
How long did it take you to make that photograph?
How long? Maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I stayed there until they finished their game.
But still, you could have done like more shots and then be off. So you waited seriously, like for the right moment.
Yeah, and then suddenly this guy lay down on the table with his tongue out of his mouth. This was the shot I needed. But I always try to stay as long as possible, until they chase me away or until something stops. Because you might think I have the shot right now, but maybe if you wait longer, you can make a better shot.
You never know, yeah.
When I go to the nightclubs, I always stay until closing hour.
The nightclub shots, they were amazing as well. Wasn't it like you can just take pictures in a nightclub in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai? Because I thought that being in a nightclub in Dubai is kind of bending the religious laws, kind of to the most extent part, and then taking pictures of those.
Yeah. Well, everything is being arranged in advance. I had all my shooting permits arranged in advance, so that was the biggest job to do for this project. 90% is sending emails and phone calls and trying to make a program from day to day what I would do, because you cannot just enter a nightclub or a hotel or a theme park and say, "Hi, I'm going to make some pictures."
You cannot do it in London, but like in the Emirates.
Impossible. Impossible. Yeah. You really need these documents. You have to have the approval for anything, even sometimes for shooting in the streets.
But when we jump back, that means that you've been like working for 1.5 months in Dubai, but you've been like working 6 months writing emails and making phone calls.
It's almost a full-time occupation. These 2 years. I plan a trip 1 month in advance, maybe 2 months in advance. I go on this trip, 2 weeks, I come back, I edit my pictures, and I start preparing the next trip. That's how it works.
And that's
so like, there's not much time left to do other things in between. Yeah. So it's a kind of sacrifice you do, because I could earn much more money if I would do assignments back home.
Yeah, sure. On the short term.
On the short term, but I'm not going to build an oeuvre or not going to build something sustainable. I want to make a book and so on. So I think this is much more important. And in the end, the Dubai pictures and the series has been published quite well. Internationally in big magazines like Stern and in El País and Vanity Fair
but they are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Zeiss Award.
Yeah.
On what camera are you working on?
I work on a Nikon D850.
And previously a lot of shots of the series were shot with the A10. I
A10,
guess.
yes. These two cameras I've used for the Dubai project.
You can see the resolution here. Like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it part of your photography, like the hyper-realistic, hyper-intense, high-quality
This is
photography?
the first thing I check when I edit my pictures. Is it sharp?
Why?
This is just the limitations I put on myself. I want to make technically perfect pictures with the biggest depth of field there is, with a very well balanced composition, with a low ISO value, maximum 800. Often shot from a tripod with a fill-in flash outside in the sun. So to get this quality of this image, I think it's about the details. I want as much details as possible in my pictures.
But then, sorry, then is the Zeiss award winning is like kind of heaven for you.
Yeah,
You won
yeah,
a lot of Zeiss lenses.
Yeah, I still have to make up my mind which lenses I will take. But
I would go for the Autos. Seriously.
Definitely the Otus 28 I will buy.
The 28.
I will ask. Yeah.
This is the most amazing lens, seriously.
Yeah, sure.
But you don't do retouching on your shots, like you don't alternate reality. You're only doing basic exposure and like
Post-production, you mean?
Post-production.
Yeah, it's contrasts and,
Okay.
and color balance and maybe
Okay.
darken or lighten up some part
Yeah.
of the picture.
Yeah.
This is what I do, but I'm not going to even not correct my perspective. This is done with a tilt shift lens.
Yeah.
So I do everything. I want to do everything on the spot.
So everything is done with a tilt and shift.
Not everything. I mean,
But
when
like the very accurate shots.
Yeah, the very static shots, the interiors of the shopping malls, and sometimes the exteriors also. Yeah. Even when there are people on the pictures, it often use my tilt shift on a tripod and wait for the people.
Okay, really last question, of perhaps before last question. You are kind of like, we both have red hair. You do have more hair than I do, but still a bit red. We do have both. Why Dubai? Like, this is the last country I would choose on earth to go.
Well, yeah,
like, it's just for us. It's like getting a fish out of the water.
Yeah. Well, I always have a
Good sunscreen.
sunscreen with me. Yeah. No, why Dubai? Because I told you it's the most excessive example I know on this kind of phenomenon, and I wanted to document this phenomenon, and I think I'm going to continue working on this topic in other places, other cities.
What other countries would be interesting?
Probably China. I have to inform myself, to do some research. Some former Soviet capitals also.
They are really brutal to the environment. A lot of places.
Yeah, especially.
Their money making is their main priority in a lot of places as well.
Yeah. Look at cities like Astana, Kazakhstan, or which is also kind of a mini Dubai, I think. I should inform myself first, but these are the kind of cities I'm looking at to go to, I think, to make.
But still, you wanna make a book out of the series?
Yeah.
Out of the whole series in Dubai. How much longer is that gonna take you?
The book has to be ready in December, because then I have a big exhibition in Belgium. And the book has to be launched on the
With the
opening
exhibition.
night. Yeah.
So this makes like another 8 or around month till it's done. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for giving me this interview.
Thanks.
And perhaps you can say something to our viewers. In my opinion, you should say something opening their minds to being creative and not only like copying
I think
rules.
Yeah. It's true. You have to find your own way to shoot your story, and I think everything starts with content. What do you want to tell?
What story you want?
What story do you want to tell? And then, what kind of style or what kind of photography do I need to make this story as good as possible? That's the starting point. Content, not the aesthetics. That comes afterwards. And then second, it's a matter of dedication and knowing your priorities. If you think you're ready with your project, go once more until you really feel, now I'm fed up with it.
Okay.
I did my last trip in Dubai in January, and I was really fed up with Dubai. I said, now I'm ready. Before I was not sure. Maybe I had enough, maybe not. No, go back until you really know, now I'm ready.
Priority and energy.
Energy, and also research, read about your subject. Try to make up your mind what you want to tell. Thanks.
Thank you
Martin.
so much. Thank you for listening. See you. Goodbye.
Bye.